Alright, what you see here is a Mainstays hugger ceiling fan. It's a rainbow hugger from the early 2000s. As many of you guys already know, Mainstays is a brand sold specifically at Walmart as their house brand. And for many people, these are pretty big childhood fans, me included, in this specific finish. Now, they sold these in 4 finishes: white, multicolored, which is what you see here, English brass, and a steel finish, which, believe it or not, did exist. I actually did see one on eBay recently. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it in time. It was a new in-box one. But they did sell these in a steel finish. So it's probably like a brushed steel finish with like maple blades or like bleach oak blades of some sort. That's one I really want to find, but one of these days I'll find it. Originally, I always thought that these were the hardest ones to find out of the 4 finishes. Or originally I thought there was only 3 finishes for it. Or like 4. I thought it was white, rainbow, polished brass, and antique brass, but it turns out it was just an English brass one. But it turns out this one seems to show up the most. I see a lot of these being sold new in the box. They're not extremely common, but they're not hard to find either. But yeah. This is basically your cheap Walmart fan. It's worse than a Littleton. There's really no quality built into it at all. It's just a cool looking fan due to the coloration of it and such. This one is from March of 2002, and then there's another UO sticker that says June of 2002. I remember when I was getting that Home Tens Rainbow Hugger for the Dominican Republic, my mom gave me the option of either getting this or the Home Trends one, and the reason why I ended up getting the Home Trends one is because that was the one that was on display. And honestly, to this day, I'm glad I picked that over this, because this is not a good performer at all, whereas the Home Trends Rainbow Hugger actually performs pretty well for what it is. It's made by Litex, and this is probably Power Max. I mean, the motor on this is basically the same as the newer ones, except it actually has vents to it. But yeah, it's unfortunate that these were only sold at Walmart in this color. It would have been nice to see other companies sell them in this exact color combination. You do see some of like just the blades being rainbow, but that's about it in terms of like the 42-inch one. But yeah, it's just a matte coloration. It's not glossy at all. Let me go ahead and show off the light. I'm using a very small LED in there because if I use a normal size one like this fella, it won't fit in there due to the tiny schoolhouse globe it has. It's about 40-ish to 60 watts, I'd say. I stole this out of my refrigerator. It is an LED one. But for a lighting test. Yeah, this lighting is very, very poor. In all honesty, it's nothing good. I feel like it's more I think it's more so a 40-watt bulb. I could be mistaken. But I did buy it just to use for the refrigerator, this white bulb, so it wasn't really meant for like lighting up a whole room. But yeah. All right, and here's low speed. I got this fan brand new out of the box from eBay. They seem to be showing up quite a bit on eBay recently, over the past few years. I definitely want to try to get the other finishes these came in. The white one, not so much, but the English brass finish and the steel finish. Now, Walmart did have 2 generic huggers like this at the time. They had the Mainstays one, which is this version, and a Home Trends one that was 42 inches. Now, the Home Trends one was a lot better built than this one. Had a bigger motor housing. Basically, it was like the size of a Littleton back in the day, and probably the exact same quality, but it was still better made in this one. Now, these fans, when they were being sold new at the time, they were only being sold for $14.95, $15. I've had this fan for almost 2 years now. Got it like right around the time. Well, actually, no, I got it during the lockdown, or right as the lockdown was being lifted and such in 2020. Back when stuff was starting to open up a little bit. I have tested this before at Nathan's back in 2020. This is back when I thought I was going to be testing there permanently, because at the time I was under the impression that I wouldn't be able to use the space for testing anymore, but that ended up not being the case. I still had that video private for a while just because I figured I'd post it later on, or more so I forgot that I even had it. Not that it wasn't a bad place to test, it's just our schedules don't really line up too well, and with how often I test stuff and how it was kind of would have been trickier to do so at his place, and plus he would have had to have been there each time I tested, so I didn't want to really take time out of his day to test when I can just do it here. But yeah, I know there's some videos of the English brass version and the white one, but I don't think there's a single video of the brushed steel one. I know there's a video that someone did of the Target version, the Hawaiian Breeze one, in brushed steel that's installed outside in like an ice cream place. Even that version I wouldn't mind getting my hands on, just to have, because it's not really. I always liked these generic huggers that look like Littletons as a kid, and still do to this day. But I always did like seeing ones in like brushed nickel or brushed steel as a kid. I'd always see like pictures of them on the internet at the time. I never did see them in person. But I don't think I remember seeing them in stores at the Walmart I would go to as a kid. I'd always either see this version, the English brass one, or the white one. Although the instructions, the owner's manual for this fan does list steel being a finish option around this time, so maybe this was something that wasn't selling that much at the time, or it might have been an online thing only. I'm not sure. But brushed nickel stuff wasn't really, or brushed steel stuff wasn't really that big of a trend like it is now. So that's the other reason I feel like you don't see too many of them. Now I did have another one of these that I tested a while back in, I think like 2017, I'd say. That one currently is in Nathan's possession. I gave that one to him as a thanks for when I was moving the stuff out of the basement and such, and I kind of had to use his space at the time to store some stuff while I was moving stuff out. It was like my way of saying thanks to him. Plus, I already had acquired this one, and he at the time didn't have it. One, and they were big childhood fans for him, which I explained in the video of when I tested this at his testing place. But he has a few other ones now new in the box. But at the time, I just gave it to him as a thank you. I will say it is actually pretty quiet, surprisingly, on a low speed. These fans are known for being loud in terms of humming. Now, the thing with my Home Trends 30-inch hugger, it's in rainbow, is that one actually had the same pull chains that this fan here has. The ones from the later 2000s, the early to mid 2000s, whereas the one I got from Todd has the older pull chain style. And of course, it's not going to be a Walmart fan if you don't have some sort of vibration. Yeah, it's just it's more sort of wobble that's causing it. Despite these being horrible, horrible fans, I do like them for childhood reasons. Hence what inspired me to recreate one with the Littleton a while back. I spray painting it. And that fan came out very horribly when I painted it. I still have it, just I've painted it over white just to kind of use as like a, I was originally going to install that in the other basement as like a beater fan somewhere, but that never ended up happening. Now, as to whether I'll ever try that again, probably not anytime soon. I could probably see myself doing it sometime in the future, but not right now. I mean, it was definitely kind of pricey to do, just because I had to buy a spray can for each color. I do know that there was one Walmart I saw this on display at, and they had the English Brass one right next to it, and that one had a green light bulb, I think, inside of the light, which I always found interesting. Back when Walmart used to have the fan displays and they actually ran them. And I do remember in the Dominican Republic, I did see something that was very similar to this down there as well. And I've seen the Target version that they sold down there, like the green one with the red, yellow, and blue blades. That was basically an Encon petite version. And I had seen this one there as well. Though I don't think it was, I'm pretty sure it wasn't a Mainstays one. It might have been just something they sold on there that was like another, like a knockoff of this or something. This is like back in 2003 and such. You know, after buying the six-bladed one in the year like 2004, 2005, I ended up really wanting to get one of these, but my Walmart stopped carrying them. I know they were still being sold, but it's just the ones that were near me didn't have them in stock anymore. As they were becoming harder to find. But at the same time, I was kind of, when I was like turning 7 to 8 years old, I was interested in fans, but not nearly as much like I was before. But then I got back into them a bit. I was getting more into video games at the time. I mean, I am feeling a very, very slight breeze from it over here on medium, but the problem is this fan has such a puny motor, very shallow blade pitch, that it really just isn't worth much in terms of performance. Wasn't for the fact that these are big childhood fans for me, I probably wouldn't even care for them. Alright, now for high speed. I mean, the fan does go a bit pretty fast, considering what it is. I mean, I definitely can say without a question that it goes faster than the current version of the Mainstays Hugger. And the performance on it's definitely a little bit better. It's not by much, but definitely is a little bit better in terms of performance. And the build quality is basically exactly the same though. Like I say, it is quieter than I expected it to be. Doesn't have any horrendous hum to it. Now, in terms of the air movement I'm feeling from it over here, um, very, very little. And out of all the fans I've tested down here so far, this is definitely, I can say, the worst performer aside from the other Mainstays fan I've tested down here, the newer version. Though this one does move a little bit more. Now directly underneath it, I'm feeling a decent breeze, but it's nothing all that special. But it's something that was sold at Walmart, so it's not really something to expect much from. But also, this thing literally was only $15 back in the day, so like 20 years ago and such. But also, I mean, even the Wilton back then was around almost the same price, but even the Wilton performed a lot better than this. And even to this day, they definitely outperformed the current ones. Not by much, but I mean, well, the Wiltons back then, depending if it was the air-cooled or the SMC ones, the air-cooled ones definitely blew this out of the park without a question. But yeah, it's definitely a fan I'm glad to have gotten because sometimes I've gotten this one for a pretty good price too. Considering it was new in the box and it was on eBay. I mean, definitely, I did pay honestly more than what I went for retail, like maybe just a tiny bit more, and also the shipping costs being factored into it. But considering how often these tend to be sold for almost $100 something or more on eBay, um, I felt like this one I got it for a steal basically. I mean, I have. I mean, the fan technically does have the exact same colors as eBay. Yes, Mark Wilson dubs this the eBay fan. So it is kind of a coincidence that I got this fan from eBay. But yeah, this fan, I like it. It's cool looking, but it is just a horrible performer. Like you literally have to be directly underneath it if it was in a bedroom to even feel something from it. I mean, if it wasn't a really hot day, this would be an okay amount of air. But I, me personally, I'd need something that's stronger than this. All right, let me go ahead and shut it off. And then I'll show it on reverse after it does spin down. Yeah, now that I think about it, like when this was being sold at Walmart, they definitely had a lot more models being sold in the store. I mean, now they don't have that many models like they used to, but I mean, over the past few years, they definitely have more models, I can say, compared to just them having the Mainstays hugger, and then they had the Mainstays downrod fin that was a 5-way thingy that came with or without a light kit, or a schoolhouse light to be exact. Whereas now they actually have some more design looking ones. So at least they kind of have some more variety, kind of like how they used to. But yeah, now I'll just show this on reverse. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there are a few models that they've been selling that I actually do like the look of. Especially a few of those Honeywell ones that they've sold. All right, now from medium. And of course it's wobbling a lot more in reverse. The blades aren't warped at all, it's just the blade arms are just so flimsy. And I remember when I tested it briefly at Nathan's, it already was wobbling right out of the box. It's just, yeah, Walmart quality, and that's the issue. I mean, granted, they did have some other models that were not so cheap in terms of the price and actually were decent, but this was not one of them. All right, now for high. All right, now to shut it off. And yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos to come.